carry out this assassination.
Cavall has been saying there's a traitor in the Senate. Someone working for Starfleet Intelligence.
Section 31 isn't part of Starfleet Intelligence.
They are Federation citizens working to advance your interests. That makes them your responsibility.
You're absolutely right. That's why I'm doing everything I can to stop them. I'm trying to convince Sloan that Cavall doesn't have Tuvman syndrome, but he may have already asked his accomplice to proceed. So if we want to be sure to stop this assassination, we have to find Sloan's Romulan accomplice.
And you expect me to find this traitor?
Sloan said something about Cavall having a personal database. It stands to reason that it contains a list of potential suspects. Now, is there any possible way you can get me a copy of this database so that I can run an analysis of...
You are asking me to hand over secret documents.
I'm asking you to put aside 3 centuries of mistrust between our peoples and help me stop a murder. Senator, if we can't reach out and bridge the gulf that is between us, if we can't trust each other, a man will die, and we will be partially responsible. I need your help. Please.
Want to see me, Doctor?
Yes. I'm not convinced that Cavall is suffering from Tuvman syndrome. His symptoms could be the result of any number of different health problems.
You didn't say that before.
I'm not an expert on Romulan physiology. Most of my knowledge on Tuvman syndrome comes from studies done on Vulcan patients.
I thought Vulcans and Romulans were virtually identical.
Yes, but there are some important genetic differences. And the more I study the available data on Romulan physiology, the less sure I am that my diagnosis was correct.
How could you find out for sure?
The best way would be to do an examination, but I hardly think he'll agree to that.
What if you obtained a sample of his skin cells? Could you run an analysis?
Probably. But how do you propose?
We'll treat your palm with a microcellular adhesive. The next time you shake his hand, you'll get your sample.
All right. Mr. Chairman, what a pleasure to see you again. I'd be very happy to resume my discussion on the quickening. This conference is adjourned. I believe you answered all my questions, Doctor. I'm glad to have been able to help. Doctor, I would like to have a word with you on another matter. In private. Of course. I believe the lecture hall is empty. You have all comfortable facilities available, if you please. Sit down. I can assure you that you will be sitting in that chair one way or the other, Doctor. Now we'll have our private talk. What shall we talk about? Why you're really on Romulus, who you're working for, and of course who's helping you. Don't worry, I won't waste your time with pointless questions. This can't be painful or not, that's up to you, Doctor. Either way, I will know what you know. It appears that your brain's neurocellular structure is not susceptible to a scanning techniques. Evidently a result of the genetic enhancements made to your parietal cortex. Sorry. I do have other methods at my disposal, but it would save everyone a great deal of trouble if you would simply tell me what I want to know. You haven't asked me any questions yet. I think you know what I'm interested in. Who are you working for? Why are you here? Brilliant.
Bashir. You are appearing before the continuing committee of the Romulan people. Any statements will be made part of the official record. Senator Kretak is charged with attempting to access the Tal Shiar database without proper authorization. The senator has told the committee a remarkable story. Since you are a key figure in her story, we are most eager to hear your version of events.
What I'm about to say may be shocking. It may even damage the relations between our two peoples. But it's the truth. A few days ago, I became aware of a plot to assassinate Chairman Koval. It was conceived of by a man known to me only as Sloan. He works for an organization called Section 31. They see themselves as protecting the interests of the Federation, although they have absolutely no official standing. Once I realized what Sloan was attempting to do, I contacted Senator Kretak in order to enlist her aid in stopping him.
Why her?
I had no one else to turn to. I was unable to contact Deep Space Nine, and I couldn't trust anybody aboard the Bellerophon.
But you felt that you could trust a Romulan senator?
Yes. For all our differences, I do respect her.
Continue.
For reasons that are extremely complicated, I came to believe that there's a traitor in your government working for Section 31. I asked the senator to obtain the database so that we could expose this person and prevent the assassination.
Senator Kretak, why didn't you come to me with this information?
I was afraid that if word of this plot got out, it would destroy the Alliance. I decided to keep my own counsel. I regret that decision.
As well you should, Kimura.
It's an interesting story, but it's not the whole story. If I may be permitted to bring in another witness. Bring in prisoner 527. Praetor, this is the man known as Sloan. Unlike the doctor, his mind is quite susceptible to our data retrieval methods. Under questioning, he has confirmed much of what the doctor and the senator have told you, with one important exception. There is no Section 31. Sloan, in fact, works for Starfleet Intelligence. Far from being the master of a rogue agency, he is simply one of many operatives in the employ of the Federation. He's had a long career, most of which is still unknown to us. However, there is one interesting element that we do know. He was the protege of the late Vice Admiral Fujisaki. Sloan did not take the death of his mentor well. He came to believe he was murdered by the Tal Shiar. In his eyes, the assassination of a Starfleet Admiral was stepping over the line. Isn't that the phrase? After Fujisaki's death, he was confronted with the dilemma. How could he seek vengeance without violating the Federation's laws? His answer was to invent Section 31, a rogue organization that answered to no one. If they killed the head of the Tal Shiar, Starfleet Intelligence would be held blameless. As the committee knows, I've been diagnosed with Tubman syndrome. Sloan became aware of my condition and hoped to make my death look like a sudden acceleration of the disease. To do that, he needed a doctor. Sloan arranged to recruit Dr. Bashir into Section 31. After that, Sloan bided his time and waited for an opportunity to present himself. He found one when he learned of this conference. He then arranged for Bashir to be invited. Everything was going perfectly. But then he made a fatal mistake. He decided to come to Romulus himself. He was unaware that his identity had become known to us. Once we recognized him in the delegation, we knew immediately that an intelligence operation was underway. What I don't understand is why. Why did you come here and take the risk of being discovered?
I had to make sure nothing went wrong. And I wanted to watch you die.
You broke the cardinal rule of our profession. You allowed business to become personal.